Sip, sip. I was at the cigar bar last night, and the unfortunate, I think the guy's name was Caleb. An unfortunate incident, a young man at Southern University was online to pledge Omega Psi Phi. He wanted to be a Q dog, you know, which is an honorable thing. If you want to be a part of a frat, one of the Divine Nine, that's wonderful. I wanted to be a part of the Divine Nine, but I made the decision after the Hazing incident to one of my friends. I decided to pledge Me Phi Me. I've always been Me Phi Me, but I was sitting at the cigar lounge in Oklahoma, was talking to one of the guys, and one of the guys I knew say, hey, this is my woo-woo. We exchanged pleasantries, and then he started talking to Mike about the incident that happened maybe about 2 weeks ago now, or a week and a half ago now, where the young man was a junior chemical engineering major and lost his life because they were hazing him or pledging him, trying to break down, you know, and I understand the pledging process. They were trying to break down his ego. And so a part of breaking down your ego is putting you in situations and doing things to you where you have to reach out to your brother. Your brother has to be, or you have to reach out and ask for help. But in the sense of breaking down your ego, or breaking down this young man's ego, it went too goddamn far, and this boy lost his life. And as a result of him losing his life, now 4 other young black men are gonna lose their lives. And when I say lose their lives, I mean they're gonna be charged and incarcerated for this kid's murder. You know, it's funny how we were attempting, or we were wanting to be a part of a brotherhood, and then the part of the brotherhood, you know, your lifeless body is left in the emergency room alone. So the same brothers that you wanted to be a part of didn't uphold their portion of the creed or the code of brotherhood by leaving you there and then lying about the bullshit. So, but he didn't want to talk about it, and I know that this incident is not isolated, but in speaking in terms of a silo of being isolated, talking about this incident, he didn't want to talk about it that much, because I know that this is not indicative. Big word is not indicative, or it doesn't speak for the whole of Omega Psi Phi, because Omega Psi Phi has some great brothers. But in terms of this incident, it was unfortunate. It's a tragic incident. It's fucked up, and it's sad that these guys weren't able to curtail or to pull back some of their aggression, some of their fun, some of their what can perceive to be fun and all. We pledging the shit out of them, you know, and it turned into a tragic scene. So man, it just boggles my mind. Now they're looking for a 4th suspect, you know. And then talking to this brother, you know, they first said from the report I read, they said that the brother had a seizure. They had it, and I didn't know they had his hands tied up. So apparently, from what I gather from him, based on the reports, now that they're talking to more people, some more information may come out. But the initial report from the newspaper, you know, the police police said that the brother, they were just punching him in the chest with boxing gloves, and they took the boxing gloves off to continue punching him. But now, talking to this brother, some information came out, and apparently they had the young man's hands restrained over his head, no shirt on or shirt on, whatever, and they were punching him in the chest and stomach, and somebody took the gloves off and punched him and broke, from what this brother, I was told. I didn't go back because I was having to sleep to drive home, so I haven't gone to research it. So I don't want to put any misinformation out there. But from what this brother told me, allegedly, they hit the young man in the ribs and broke one of his ribs, and the broken rib punctured his lung. I don't know how true it is, allegedly. So they broke one of his ribs, and he started gasping for air. But they said that he had a seizure, so I would imagine that he started to, you know, Lord have mercy. You know, And so now more information is coming out. This is becoming more and more of a tragic scene and incident that happened. Man, and as I think about it, I just think about my son, and the emotions come as a father. How do you deal with this? As a family, God goes out to the family of Caleb. You know, this man had the rest of his life. Man, it just baffles my mind, and it's just I can't even continue my train of thought as I think about the horrific scene of them beating on this young man, or punching him and pledging him, trying to break down his self-esteem, or not his self-esteem, but his ego. And it goes so far as to somebody being injured and then ultimately passing at the hands of somebody else, you know, trying to do something to break down his ego during the pledging process. We're going to have to undergo this pledging process. They're going to have to start checking the mindset of the person that was there overseeing this pledging process, because apparently this guy that was overseeing was 25 and already graduated. So he came back to enact or to yield his will on these pledgees who would probably do anything to be a part of this organization. And that's the sad part about it, is that we are our own worst enemy sometimes when it comes to certain things. We do things to one another that shouldn't be done. You understand? So where does it stop? Where does it end? I think we need to teach our young men to be able to stand up. We need to empower them to say, hey, enough is enough. Stop. I don't give a damn. I'm telling. You know, we got this no snitching thing. Man, it just breaks my heart when I think about it. But he didn't want to talk about it, and I can understand why. But there needs to be, we need to talk about things like this. We need to, as men, as women, we need to sit down, and discuss these types of things amongst ourselves, and then take the time to sit down and talk to our kids, our youth. Because then I saw something, I think it was yesterday, where this young lady was saying that she pledged, and I'm not going to say the name of the organization, but it was a part of the Divine Nine, that they had them eating dog food. And she didn't know until years later that they were crunching up dog food and putting it with tuna fish, and they were making them eat this stuff and eating it off the floor and all kind of nonsense to break down the ego. We are egotistical people. We love egos. We have big egos. Our ego is going to drive us in the ground. So we need to have a conversation. We need to talk about this. And I didn't press the issue when the brother didn't want to talk about it, but I was just wanting to get his perception, his thoughts, his mindset from being a part of the organization. I just wanted to talk to him about it from his perspective. You understand? I wasn't trying to be nosy in that. I just wanted to understand fully, like, goddamn. Because, when they did my boy the way that they did him, it made me change my mindset, wanting to be a part of some of the Divine Nine organization. Because I don't think that you can't burn me or do some stuff to me, that's going to potentially hurt me, and then say you want to be my brother, or you want me to call you big brother. So we need to discuss this. I would urge you, if you have a child, if you have a youngster, a teenager in middle school, in elementary school, talk to them about fighting and doing all these things, and being physical with one another, and letting the anger and that immediate thought that goes through their head. I remember my son got into it with a kid, at football practice, and he got his hand slammed in the locker because they were playing this game. And he waited for the kid. He said that he jumped on the kid because the kid didn't apologize immediately. He looked, and the kid, when we sat at the parent meeting, the kid said that he was scared. Now, I don't know why he was scared, because they went to Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts together, and they were together, But that's the thing that they use when I say they, the victim or the perpetrator of initial, they use that. So we need to talk to our kids about aggression, about doing what's right when nobody's looking. We need to start having these conversations with them. And some of them are difficult conversations because you may be an aggressor and you're teaching your child, your son, to be an aggressor. But we need to teach our kids how to logically think, because kids nowadays, they don't think logically. At least I don't think they do. But we need to teach them to have their own mindset, to be leaders, not to be followers, to use their voice. Open your mouth and say something. Say enough is enough. Learn how to say, I can't do it, I had enough. When you feel yourself being, misused and mistreated, we'll say something about being molested. At least we'll say something on the front side. We won't say nothing on the back side. We just push it under the carpet and hope it'll go away. But, this is something that's near and dear to my heart, because I have a son that's 23. And my heart goes out to the family, to his parents. Man, that's got to be hard. I know it's heartbreaking. Man, your kid's supposed to bury you, not you bury your kids. So, Lord have mercy. We got to do better. And hopefully, I expect better out of me. I expect better out of my people. But it starts with the men. So men, start having these conversations with your sons, with your daughters, with your next door neighbors, with your nephews. There's a kid, there's a young African American male that will listen to you. Maybe you may not think he's listening, but he's listening. Pull them to the side, have the conversations. So you can say, I tried, I did. Do the best. Don't give up so easily on these youngsters. Let's not give up on them. They mixed up, twisted, and confused, but let's not give up on them. Become one of them strong men that you grew up with. One of them ones that will whoop your ass and then call your daddy. Be one of them ones that they respected, because they knew you wanted the best for them, and only, and you was going to tell them right from wrong. Don't go along with the bullshit, but be the one that tell them, no, man, that ain't right. That's not right. Because then at the end, they don't respect that. They ain't going to respect you. So let's be one of the ones that yeah, when my son was growing up, one of the things that if your son come to my house, I'm going to put these hands on him. I'm going to put that belt on him. I'm going to say something to him. I may fuss. I may get loud. But understand, I don't want nothing more for your son than I want for mine. But if he come to this house, he going to get some correction, some instruction, and he may get chastised. But he ain't going to do it again. But he's going to get corrected. And when the kids came to my house, I had a conversation with their daddies, and I had a conversation with them. If you see my son, or if you see my son doing something, you had a right to grab him and tell him, and then call me and tell me, because I'm going to get on that ass too. So we got to get back to that. Well, that ain't my kid. I ain't going to say nothing. No, let's start these conversations. Let's have these conversations with these young African American men. Damn what they think. Damn how they feel. Open your mouth. Say something. That's how I feel. I'm going to say something regardless. So, I don't know what it is, but we need to start having these tough conversations. Sip, sip.